Well, the process in of itself, to describe it, is very, very simple. Yeah, but to actually unpack the simplicity of each step often needs a little bit of support. But in the simplicity of it, we all have a body. Yeah, and so from our body comes all of our behaviours, words, thoughts and or feelings. And our behaviours, words, thoughts and feelings are always what we say are either thumbs up or what we perceive as thumbs down. Never with judgment, but what we need to understand is our body is never, ever, ever right or wrong. Our body is just simply a form of communication. So that's one of the first principles, is that we never make the body wrong. We just simply say, I wonder what it's communicating. But from there we go body, and then there's the life of the Body Life Skills program. So our body is communicating to us, and as soon as we get the slightest sign of any unwanted behaviours or words or thoughts or feelings, the slightest, that could be a voice tone change, it could just be a rumble in the tummy, it could be a tightness across the shoulders, it's the tiniest thing, we need to say, well, I wonder why. And the I wonder why is saying, I wonder what's the part of life that that person does not yet perceive they're equipped to deal with. And so life is like I said, we're in this massive classroom of life. We're constantly with people. Yeah, but do we always feel equipped to deal with whatever that person is presenting? Or we're constantly wanting to be with people. And do we feel equipped to know how to start an interaction, be in an interaction, continue the interaction, end it? We're always in a setting or a physical location. We're always being asked to participate in a task, whether it be doing an assignment or cooking a meal or doing our house cleaning or having a conversation, whatever it might be. But those three aspects of life, what I call the setting, the interaction and the task, are all the life that happens outside of our body. But then we've also got a life that's going on inside our body, whether it's hunger or tiredness or sadness or whatever it is that's happening inside of our body. But all of those accumulated make what I say the classroom of life. And I'm presenting it on a macro level, but they all need to be microanalyzed very, very acutely to find out specifically what the issue is for each person. But that life is just simply a part of life that person hasn't yet self-mastered, or they don't yet perceive that they have self-mastered. And the word perceive is very, very important, because it's not what a person does or does have the skills to deal with. Does or doesn't have the skills to deal with. It's what they perceive they do or do not have the skills to deal with.
Which can be linked to confidence and self-esteem. And
absolutely. Yeah, so we might ask a person, let's say, to do a maths test, and they might have a picture in their mind that they need to get 10 out of 10. Yeah, so life becomes the maths test based on their picture, I need 10 out of 10. But if they don't perceive that they can get 10 out of 10, which means they don't perceive they have the skills to deal with that part of life, then their body will start exhibiting whatever the forms are of anxiety, which will lead to their form of unwanted behaviour.
You're right, there's simplicity in the body, the life and the skills, but as you drill down, there's so much happening in our day-to-day, in our own bodies, in our surrounds, in the interpersonal experiences. Just on developing a relationship with our body, learning to listen to our body.
Absolutely.
What is it saying? Is my heart beating fast? Am I feeling anxious? Is this something that you find people, when supported, can naturally develop that relationship with their body?
Yeah, like I always talk, there's a difference between the word normal and natural. So normal is representative of what the large population is doing, and then natural is our innate way. Our innate way, our natural way, is to have a relationship with our body, and to understand the tiny messages that it's communicating to us all. Unfortunately, it's not our normal. Typically our normal, from what I see in society, is that we listen to our body when it's hit its extreme, when it's hit its higher intensity of whatever that might be. So we can accumulate degrees of aspects of life that just build and build and build until we find ourselves at what I call our meltdown point. Meaning our meltdown looks very different for everybody. It's not always an aggressive meltdown. It might be withdrawal, it might be overeating, undereating, whatever, but we all have our point of meltdown. But the normal of society is that we wait until we hit our crisis point and then we say, hey, what's actually going on? But when you connect people back, our innate way is actually to have a relationship with our body, even when it's free of anxiety. And then when you've got an understanding of what your body feels like when it's free of anxiety, you pick up the most subtlest things. And that subtle sign suddenly becomes the crisis. And one day we'll start to live in that way that you listen to the smallest of triggers and you go, wow, this isn't okay. Yeah, we need to address what's really going on here. But unfortunately at the moment that's not our normal. Our normal is waiting until we're a long way away from our body till we really connect to that there's something going on.
For some people it might feel that they just don't have control over their behaviour and they feel like they're being, taken on a ride with it. It's not something they can change. If we observe things, like we might observe the anxiety in our body, we might observe ourselves doing certain things, is that in of itself of value? Is awareness of what we're feeling and what we're doing, is that in of itself a first step?
It's definitely a first step, and you introduce the concept of observation. Yeah, an observation of ourselves and observation of other people. But true observation comes without judgment. Yeah, because at the moment a lot of people do observe themselves, or they do become aware of things that are going on, but they judge it to be wrong. Yeah, but that I introduced the question before, which is, to me, it's my all-time favourite question, is I wonder why. But I wonder why just allows there to be no judgment. So when we do develop the relationship with being aware of our own body, or observing and being aware of the body of others, a step that's important is to be able to observe and be aware without judgment, and just simply go, I do notice the increase of anxiety, I do notice that there's a change in behaviour that's coming, but not that's wrong, that needs to change, we need to stop that. It's, well, I wonder why it's happening. Yeah, I wonder what's going on for that person, for them to now need to be exhibiting those, because back at this point here, when they're in their inner essence, they wouldn't be using those behaviours.
So it seems that judgment and that wanting to fix it is a part of that management mindset.
Yes.
Let's plug the holes in the dam. Whereas if you're saying, I wonder why, your next observation could be, what part of life are they not coping with?
Correct.
Then you get to the skills and the understanding.
Absolutely. Because honesty without judgment is one of the only ways to heal.
Every now and every then I look up to the stars.